Welcome back to the Circular Economy Excellence podcast. I'm Henrik Ved Jensen, and today we are concluding our deep dive into the 5 key digital capabilities outlined in a Sustainable Manufacturing Intelligence Framework with this chapter 15, which focuses on data-driven circularity. As always, I used AI to analyze and interpret this chapter, creating a discussion between two artificial minds to help you understand its key insights. I wrote this chapter because data is a new competitive advantage in a circular economy. To become circular, digital and clean by 2030, manufacturers must go beyond producing high-quality physical products. They must combine their expertise in manufacturing with the strengths of digital companies. That means using algorithms, AI and advanced analytics to unlock insights from vast interconnected data sets. This shift raises critical questions for manufacturers. Do we have the knowledge and interactions necessary to understand the life cycle our products will follow in a circular economy? Do we know how to use that information in our data graphs to gain a competitive advantage? Data-driven circularity means that manufacturers don't just build products, they create digital intelligence around them, unlocking new business models, efficiency gains, and sustainability benefits. This will happen through concepts like predictive analytics that ensure maintenance, reuse, and recycling happen at the right time. We are talking about AI-driven optimization, which is reducing material waste and improving supply chain efficiency. They will need to have lifecycle tracking that enable manufacturers to understand how products evolve beyond the initial sale. Digital twins, datagraphs, is helping companies visualize product and material flows in real time. By blending physical product expertise with AI-driven insights, manufacturers can unlock new opportunities, create long-term value, and redefine their role in a data-driven circular economy. Let's dive into this AI conversation and explore how data intelligence is becoming the foundation of circular success.
All right, listeners, ready to dive deep?
Let's do it.
Today, we're cracking open Chapter 15 of Henrik H. Ved Jensen's Circular Economy Opportunities and Pathways for Manufacturers.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
It's all about data-driven circularity.
Using data to, make things better.
Basically, figuring out how data can be the brains behind a more sustainable way of making stuff, like the mastermind behind the scenes.
Exactly. Instead of that old take, make, waste routine, we're talking about a loop, constantly reusing and repurposing.
Resources, materials, the whole 9 yards.
And data, the data is what makes this loop actually work seamlessly, like a well-oiled machine.
So Jensen really emphasizes this idea of data being the central brain.
Pulling information from everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. It's like customer feedback, how different companies are collaborating, even what our devices are telling us about how they're performing.
It's a lot to process, for sure.
Where do we even begin to untangle all of this?
Well, he breaks it down into these key technologies. So you've got your big data, which is like handling massive amounts of information.
Okay, big data, got it.
Then there's business intelligence, or BI for short. That's about taking all that raw data and squeezing insights out of it.
Making sense of the chaos.
Exactly. But here's where it gets really interesting. AI and machine learning. Those are the real game changers.
Okay, AI and machine learning. Buzzwords I hear all the time. But what do they actually do to make companies better? Like, what's the real-world impact here?
Imagine a company that can perfectly predict how much material they'll need, down to the last scrap.
So no waste.
No waste before it even happens. Or picture them using data to find the weak spots in their recycling process.
So they're constantly improving.
Constantly, yep. That's the power of this granular level of insight.
It's like a laser focus on every single step. Okay, that's starting to make a lot more sense. Now, Jensen uses a real-world example in this chapter.
Smart flow pumps, right?
Smart flow pumps, yeah. They seem to be doing everything right when it comes to data-driven circularity.
They're a great example, for sure. A real model for others to follow.
All right, so let's break down what they're doing. First off, at the very beginning, when they're designing and actually making the pumps, what's happening there?
They're using AI to come up with products that are both durable and easy to recycle.
Built to last, but also built to be reused.
Exactly. But here's the really cool part. They're constantly taking customer feedback and feeding it back into the design process.
So they're not just designing in a vacuum.
Nope. They're making improvements based on what actual users are experiencing out there in the real world.
It's like crowdsourcing product development, but with data.
You got it.
So it's not just some engineer's idea of what's best. It's about how the pump actually performs in the real world.
Real world validation, that's the key. And it goes even further than that. Once those pumps are out there working, they actually have sensors in them.
Sending data back.
Constantly.
Right.
A nonstop stream of performance data.
Okay, so that's where the smart flow pumps comes in. But what are they doing with all that data? It sounds like it could be overwhelming.
That's where the magic of predictive maintenance comes in. Think of it like spotting potential issues before they even become problems.
Like a crystal ball for pumps.
Kind of. Fewer breakdowns, less energy waste pumps that last way longer. It's pretty amazing.
Talk about a win-win-win. But nothing lasts forever, right? What happens when the pump reaches the end of its life? Is data still in the picture then?
Oh, absolutely. SmartFlow uses big data and AI to figure out the best way to refurbish their pumps.
So they know exactly what needs to be fixed or replaced.
Precisely. And the result is a high-quality refurbished pump that's pretty much as good as new.
They're basically giving these pumps a whole second life.
Exactly.
But even a refurbished pump eventually hits its limit. Then what?
Well, SmartFlow even uses data to predict when that's going to happen.
So they know when a pump is on its last legs.
Exactly. So they can proactively manage the take-back process and make sure all those materials get recycled properly.
It's like they've closed the loop completely. From design to end of life, data is at the heart of it all.
That's data-driven circularity in action.
I bet our listeners are starting to see how powerful this can be. Now, Jensen goes into some of the specific tech that makes this possible. Let's unpack that, starting with business intelligence, or BI. What's the big idea here?
BI is like, think of it as a translator, taking all that raw data and turning it into something that businesses can actually use.
Making it understandable.
Yes. Actionable insights, that's what it's all about. It's about finding those light bulb moments in the data and using them to, like, make a company better.
More efficient, more sustainable.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to, using resources wisely and making supply chains smarter.
So it's like having a super efficient manager, but for the entire circular economy, someone who's obsessed with logistics and sustainability all at once.
That's a great analogy. Now let's talk about artificial intelligence, AI. It's kind of like giving machines, giving them a brain, enabling them to do things that normally require human intelligence.
Like what kinds of things?
Designing products, making complex decisions, understanding language, solving problems, things like that.
Hold on. AI designing products. That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. Is that actually happening now?
Oh, yeah, it's happening. Companies like Danfoss, they make heating and cooling systems. They're using AI to make their products more eco-friendly.
Wow. So they're using AI to basically design for sustainability.
Exactly. And then there's TK Elevator. They're using AI for predictive maintenance, just like SmartFlow pumps.
It seems like AI is popping up everywhere these days. Okay, so we've got AI. What about machine learning? How does that fit into the picture?
Think of AI as the big picture, the overall concept. And machine learning, we call it ML, is like the engine that makes AI even smarter.
Okay, so AI is the concept, ML is the engine.
Right. ML allows computers to learn from data, see patterns, and then make predictions without needing to be programmed for every specific scenario.
So it's like AI on steroids.
Huh. You could say that. It's especially useful in situations where, like, resources are scarce. ML helps you make the most of what you have.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all of these pieces fit together. Big data, BI, AI, and ML. They're like a sustainability dream team.
Absolutely, they all work together.
Now, Jensen also talks about something called predictive analytics. What's that all about?
It's kind of like having a crystal ball, but one that's actually grounded in data.
So predicting the future, but with science.
Exactly. We use algorithms and machine learning to forecast trends and behaviors, especially the ones that are important for circularity.
Okay, but how does knowing the future actually help with the circular economy? Give me an example.
Sure. Imagine being able to predict the lifespan of a product. Knowing when a product is likely to, break down.
Okay, so you know when it's going to reach the end of its life.
Right. And that means companies can plan for its return, refurbishment, recycling. It also helps them avoid problems before they even happen.
That's incredible. Anticipating issues before they even arise.
Exactly. It's all about being proactive.
Okay, so we've covered big data, BI, AI, ML, and predictive analytics. Is there anything else?
Oh, almost forgot. Generative AI.
Generative AI, what's that?
Think of it like giving designers like a magic wand that can create completely new designs, and then they can test them out in a virtual world, try different materials, different configurations.
So it's like a digital prototyping tool.
Yes, it's revolutionizing product development, especially when it comes to making things more circular.
So generative AI helps us design products that are born to be circular. That's pretty amazing. But wait, we've got all this incredible tech, powerful data. How do we make sure the right people have access to the right information at the right time?
Ah, good question. That's where digital product passports come in. DPPs.
Digital product passports, I've heard of those.
Yeah, they're basically like a digital twin of a physical product. They store all the important information about a product's life from its creation to, the end of its journey.
So it's like a product's entire history,
Yeah.
all in one place. I can see how that would be useful for manufacturers, but what about the average consumer?
Well, imagine being able to scan a product with your phone and then boom, you see how it was made, what it's made of, how to repair it, how to recycle it.
Wow, so complete transparency.
Exactly. DPPs empower consumers to make more informed decisions. It's all about supporting a more sustainable and circular economy.
That's fantastic. But let's be real, all of this sounds great in theory, but I'm sure there are some challenges in making this data-driven circularity thing actually work. What are some of the roadblocks Jensen talks about?
Well, you're right. It's not always easy. One of the biggest challenges is getting access to enough data, good quality data.
Data itself can be a problem.
It can be. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out problem,
Yeah.
You need reliable data to fuel these technologies.
So data is the fuel, but sometimes it's not the right kind of fuel. What else can trip companies up?
Choosing the right tools and platforms can be a challenge. There are so many options out there. Finding the right fit for a company's needs is crucial.
It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack of software. But tech is only part of the equation, right?
Right. The human element is just as important.
What do you mean?
Companies need to create a data-driven culture.
What does that mean?
It means changing mindsets, encouraging people to embrace data. And make sure employees see data as a valuable tool, train them to understand and use it effectively.
So it's about having the right mindset, not just the right technology.
Yes. Jensen talks about some essential digital capabilities that manufacturers need to develop. Think of it like a roadmap to success.
Okay, a roadmap. What are some of the key stops on that roadmap?
Well, it all starts with a strong foundation. Big data infrastructure. You need the capacity to handle massive amounts of data.
Makes sense. You can't analyze data you don't have. I see Internet of Things is on this list too. IoT. That's all about connecting everyday objects to the internet, right? How does that help with this data-driven approach?
Yeah, think of all those smart devices out there, constantly sending and receiving information.
So our toasters and refrigerators can help build a circular economy.
In a way, yes. We can use that data to optimize performance, predict maintenance needs, make sure we're using resources efficiently.
We talked about digital product passports before, and I see those are on the list as well. What else is Jensen emphasizing?
Advanced analytics. It's about using data to streamline processes, allocate resources more effectively, and make better decisions about product design.
Data is the key to everything.
It's a powerful tool for sure.
I'm noticing two other capabilities on this list: customer analytics and data sharing platforms. Those seem to focus more on, well, the human side of things.
They do. Customer analytics is all about understanding what your customers really want and need. By tapping into this data, companies can design products that people will actually keep using.
So longer-lasting products, products that are durable, repairable, and desirable.
Exactly.
What about these data sharing platforms? Are we talking about companies sharing their data with each other?
Yep. It might sound counterintuitive, but sharing data can actually benefit everyone. It's about breaking down silos and working together.
So it's about creating a more open and transparent system where everyone can learn from each other. I'm starting to grasp the bigger picture here. This isn't just about some cool new tech. It's about changing how we think and work.
You got it.
So Jensen lays out this roadmap, right,
Okay.
for companies that want to really embrace this data-driven circularity.
He does, yeah.
But I feel like we're missing something. How does all this data, all this tech, how does it actually lead to real action?
Well, he ties it back to the 1+5R model.
The what?
The 1+5R model.
Okay. Remind me what that is again.
So you've got your reduce, reuse, repair, refurbish, and recycle, right?
All right. The classic 5 Rs.
Exactly. But Jensen adds redesign at the beginning.
Redesign. So that's the one before the 5 Rs.
Yep. And he makes the point that data can really supercharge those strategies.
Okay, I'm following you, but I need specifics. How does data actually help companies reduce, reuse, recycle, all that? Give me an example.
Okay, so let's take redesign. Imagine a company is collecting data on how their products are being used, how they break down, what happens to them at the end of their life.
Okay, they're gathering all this information.
Right. And then they use that data to inform the design of their next product.
So they can make it more durable,
Yeah.
easier to repair, easier to recycle.
Exactly. They're using data to create products that are built for circularity from day one. And it's not just about looking at the past.
What do you mean?
They can use things like simulation tools and generative AI to test out different designs and materials virtually.
So they're figuring out the best way to do things before they even start manufacturing.
Exactly. They're optimizing for circularity before they even make anything.
Wow. That's pretty incredible. It's like building a digital twin of the product's entire life. Okay, so we talked about redesign. What about the actual 5 Rs? Reduce, reuse, all of that.
Yeah, so let's take reducing material use. Think about a company that has real-time data on their supply chain. They know exactly what they need when they need it.
So they don't overstock.
Right, and that means less waste. It's about having a really efficient, environmentally conscious supply chain.
Makes sense. What about reuse? Reusing components, I mean.
Data can help companies figure out which parts can be reused, in other products or processes.
So they're not just throwing things away.
Exactly. It's about creating these closed-loop systems where materials are constantly flowing back into the production cycle.
That's a cool way to think about it. What about repair?
Well, think about sensors. They can tell a company when a product needs maintenance.
Before it breaks down completely.
Right, so you prevent those small issues from becoming big problems.
So it's proactive maintenance rather than reactive repair.
Exactly, and that ultimately extends the lifespan of the product.
And saves resources.
Right.
What about refurbishment and remanufacturing?
Data can help companies decide which products are actually good candidates for those processes.
Because not everything can be refurbished or remanufactured, right?
Right, and data can also guide the disassembly process. Figure out which parts can be reused, repaired, or recycled.
It's about making those processes as efficient as possible.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've gone through almost all of them. What about the final R, recycling?
Data can optimize pretty much every stage of the recycling process, from sorting materials to managing the logistics and even tracking the environmental impact of different recycling methods.
So it's about making recycling more efficient and more sustainable.
Exactly.
Wow, it really seems like data is the key to all of this. This whole deep dive has been eye-opening. I never realized how much potential data has to change the way we make and use products.
It's pretty amazing.
What's the one message you really want our listeners to walk away with today?
I want them to remember that data isn't just about, numbers and algorithms. It's about creating a better future, a more sustainable future. We can use data to transform industries, optimize resources, and create a circular economy that benefits everyone.
That's a great message, and I think it's the perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
And to our listeners, keep those brains buzzing and stay curious.
I hope today's discussion helped clarify why data-driven circularity is essential for manufacturers looking to stay competitive in the circular economy. If you take away 3 key insights from this episode, then you should note that manufacturers must evolve beyond product expertise to become data-driven companies. In a circular economy, success is determined by how well businesses capture, analyze, and act on data from their products throughout their life cycle. Secondly, you should note that AI and analytics unlock circular potential. Predictive maintenance, life cycle tracking, and material intelligence help companies reduce waste, optimize operations, and create more resilient supply chain. And last, datagraphs are the future of competitive advantage. The ability to map and interpret product interactions over time will define which companies lead in a circular, digital and clean economy by 2030. To fully explore how data-driven strategies can reshape your manufacturing business, I encourage you to get my book, where I provide detailed frameworks and real-world case studies on implementing these capabilities. And because circularity and digital intelligence are evolving rapidly, I continue to add fresh insights and updates at circularpathwaysbook.com. Until next time, keep learning, keep optimizing, and keep building a smarter, data-driven circular economy.